Hey folks, good morning. Can you guys hear me? Can someone confirm me? I hope everyone can hear me. All
Good
right.
morning.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Mr. Satish here. I can hear you.
Hey, thank you very much. Yeah. So this is Satish. I'm gonna lead the session for you guys on the cloud computing, and this course is especially about AWS Solution Architect, right? So let's get started. Welcome to the course, guys. I hope this is the very first session. So since it's the first session, you guys know that, right? Like organizing everyone to get started, it might take some time because everyone will do some setup on your local. I think everyone has completed it, and welcome to the course. I'm Satish. I'm gonna lead the complete session for you. Who are you, Satish? Right? Okay. I'm Satish, having 10 plus years of experience into IT industry and training. I have experience into cloud and DevOps, platform engineering, automation in the various domains. So I have done for AWS, Azure, IBM Cloud, Google Cloud, Oracle Cloud. I have done various cloud platform stuff. I do the DevOps part. I have experience in OpenShift, Kubernetes, a lot of DevOps stuff as well, right? That's my profile, and I will be taking the session completely. I'm AWS certified, and here I would request you guys to introduce as a first step because this is our first class. I love to hear about you. If you guys can unmute one by one and talk, I give an introduction. What's your expectation? What's your introduction? What's your background? If you just brief a short, will be interesting. So maybe I'll call out a name because if I randomly call, everybody can unmute and talk. So maybe I'll call out a name. I can see some name here. Maybe I'll call out that name. You can unmute and talk. So Abhi, I'll go with the list which I have it in my name, right? So Abhi, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, yeah, good evening. Myself Abhishek.
Okay,
So, my background is computer science, and currently I'm working as an application developer.
okay,
I'm interested in learning the cloud because of the market and the way how the cloud is getting focused by the enterprises. So, I just want to
okay.
get into that and learn.
Awesome, Abhishek. So Abhi, you're actually a developer or like a kind of administrator? You work on which
Uh,
technology?
I'm a Java application developer.
Oh, awesome, awesome. So Java plus cloud developer is actually a good stack, in the market. Awesome. Thanks, Abhishek. Yeah.
Thank you.
Uh, Thank you. I go with AWS. There is a name called as AWS, I see. May I know who is that?
Hey, it's me. Hello.
Hey, hi. Yeah.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Bharti. Uh,
Bharti, is it?
It's not AWS. I am Bharti.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
Nice. So
um,
I saw that the name AWS, so I thought the name is AWS.
I
Okay.
just
Nice.
named it as the session was that.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
It's not me. Okay. Actually, I'm a housewife. I completed my post graduation in chemistry
Mhm.
in 2012, and now I'm
Okay.
going to switch. I just want to switch to the software industry.
Hmm.
So most of my husband is also a software engineer, and many of them have suggested that this course would be better for me. Uh,
Hmm.
so I
Instead
have
of going
joined
for
to this.
programming. Yeah, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I have I have trained more than 40 plus housewife actually so far. So they take the course, so the initial struggles will be there for you to understand because you're still since from non-IT and not in touch with the education, but just a few days of effort, that's it. But you need to put some days of effort to understand, anyway you will be getting the recording and you will have some effort of understanding about the classes, right? So after that you will be saturated. It'll definitely help you to get a job and you can
Thank
continue on
you.
this, right?
Thank you so
No
much.
problem.
Okay,
No
sir.
problem. Yep.
Mm.
Thanks, Bharti. So I'll go with,
Okay. Mm.
yeah, there's another name, IGOR. How can I pronounce? Like, folks, who is that? Yeah, I think you are muted, but I couldn't hear you. You have connected your audio. I do not hear you. I see you are unmuted.
Yes. Can
Yeah.
you hear me?
Your voice is a bit
Can you
draggy,
hear me
maybe
now?
because of network issue. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. I can hear you. Hey, are you talking?
Well, I'm a DevOps engineer. My contract just finished. I work as a DevOps engineer.
Okay, Srinesh. So your name is Srinesh, is it?
Ah,
Maybe your voice is
yes.
breaking. You can just text me in the chat box an introduction would help. Maybe some break is happening. Maybe it's due to network or some mic issue. You can just text me. No problem. All right. Thank you very much. I'll move to Raju. Hey, Raju.
Hey, I have more than 10 years of experience. I'm a Java developer
Oh,
looking
awesome.
to improve the AWS for a full stack developer.
Oh, awesome. Very nice, Raju, and very nice background music. Actually, thank you, Raju. Uh, so for you, it won't be a difficult part for you, but only thing is, on the infra, you must have not seen some of the topics. That won't be a problem. It will be just a kind of refresh for you. So don't worry about it. But I hope you're able to go in the programming way of see because in cloud we have developer path, the engineering path, the support path. We have multiple paths here, and where the money mostly, the more and more money when you have programming, you have more and more money there actually. Right? So and Java plus cloud is actually a good stack where it gives a lot of money, but there are other administration and support as well to get started with initially. Whoever is completely new, they can easily go there. Right. Thank you. And there's one more person called. Okay, we have two more. Saifullah. Hey,
Hi, good
can
morning,
you?
sir.
Hey, good morning.
Uh, Thank you for the course. Actually, I'm a beginner in this field. I'm a technical support specialist. So as I was saying,
Sorry, yours is not clear. Can you repeat it?
yeah, yeah, this is Saifullah. This is Saifullah. Hi, hi, Mr. Satish. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Satish. Yeah, thank you for the
Hey.
course. Yeah, hello.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. I'm a beginner in this course. Yeah.
Okay.
So everything is new for me. So I'm working as a technical support specialist and I want to move this field, so it's new for me. So hopefully, inshallah, it will be helpful for me. So that's why I joined
Okay.
somebody to
Awesome.
AWS. So that's why, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Thank you
Mm,
very much, Saifullah. So I hope you will be able to fastly pick up, and it'll be easy for you. So I will make that as a easiest course because that's how I take your course. Don't worry
Thank
about
you.
it.
Thank you.
All right, and that's the
Thank you.
first step,
Thank
and you have taken it, and which is nice. Thank you very much, Saifullah.
you.
Right. I'll move to Vamsi. Hey, Vamsi.
Right. I have also requested Vamsi to. Okay, Vamsi also. Okay, Vamsi is finally a student, and okay, Igor is having some bad network. That's okay. Awesome. Let's get started. So I hope you guys can see my screen. If not, let me know. So I'm gonna just walk through the what are we gonna cover in this particular course on the AWS Solution Architect. I hope you guys must have seen the syllabus, guys. Guys, please be interactive during the session. It will help you to get more content from me. See, when I talk, I will just give the content whatever is relevant to the syllabus, but when you interact, you might get more content, right? So just ask me more and more question. Even if you don't understand any small thing, just stop me right away, ask me the questions, I will help you to understand even more. Don't worry about, like, if you don't understand something while taking the classes, do not worry about that. Just stop me right away, unmute, and ask me, like, what is a question that you have. I will again try to explain. I don't mind explaining multiple times, because multiple people have different capability, right? Like, people may understand on the first time or maybe some people understand on the, when I repeat it. So don't worry about it. I will help you guys to understand all the concepts whatever is needed. Maybe I'll just share the syllabus. What are we going to cover? So we have covered, I've introduced myself, your introduction is done. Now next, what are we going to cover in this course? Let's see the syllabus part. I'll just go with the syllabus part. And so here is the syllabus. So what, in the visual path, like, what are we going to cover in this course on the solution architect? We talk about the cloud computing introduction. What is cloud computing? Why we need the cloud computing concept in the world? Because nowadays everyone says we need cloud. Without cloud we cannot sustain. Cloud is the primary model for all the IT industry. Everyone is saying that. Why do they say that? We need to understand what is cloud computing and what are the different deployment models of cloud computing, which is like, we have private, public, hybrid cloud, the differences in the cloud service delivery model. Then we see some basic Linux commands. This is the very initial thing. So very first few classes, guys, you need to bear with me that I will explain some theories, because in the very beginning, if I start directly the hands on, you will really get bored, because you won't even understand the ABC of the, like, the very basic of the cloud, right? So I need to make you understand what is cloud, why we need to learn this. So for that, very one or two session or something like that, we need to have kind of a theory class to understand what are we going to learn in this particular course, and then it is going to be completely practical. So my course curriculum is like, I is articulated in such a way that you do the hands on every day, and I will give you task for you guys every day. You guys have to go back, do some hands on practice, and come back and ask me the questions and share your screen, like if you guys stuck somewhere. So I can help you all the support, I can help you with all the support, saying, like, wherever you guys stuck in your hands on, I will do that, right? So what are the topics we're going to cover? Maybe whatever I'm going to talk is completely a technical jargons for you. For you it might be a different language. If you don't understand, don't worry about it, because we're going to see all the topics in our, like, syllabus, right? So we're going to talk about the Amazon Web Service. Why Amazon Web Service? Now if I ask you to, so to some of you to say, hey, why did you choose Amazon Web Service? If I ask you, what will you say? You will say, because it has a good career, right? And cloud computing is very important in the current industry. That's why we have chosen. Now, why everybody is choosing AWS? Why AWS has a good market opening? A lot of things are there, right? So we need to understand why AWS is famous, and we need to also understand what all the service they are providing. So they are providing 200 plus services. You cannot get master with all the services, but as a solution architect, you need to understand about the infrastructure part of it. You can ask me, hey, AWS is providing 200 service. There is a gaming platform, there is a satellite a ground station, there is a Alexa integration, there are a lot of things AWS provides. Are we going to learn everything? No, we are solution architect, we are going to learn about the infrastructure part of AWS. So let why I'm making it very clear, because if you go out and tell you are learning AWS, people may ask, there is a machine learning service in AWS. Hey, do you know that AWS machine learning service? You cannot say that I don't know. I know machine learning, because what we are going to see here is on the infrastructure part. So the solution architect is mostly on the infrastructure part, right? So if you don't understand on some of the jargons today, what I'm going to explain, don't worry, because I'm just going to tell you the topic. We're going to drill detailedly again into all the topics again, right? So do not worry about it. So here, if you see Elastic Compute Cloud, this is for server man. I'll put it in a simple term, guys. Don't worry about, because if I start explaining the detailed things, you might not understand in the very first class. You will just run away. Don't worry about it. I'll just give you the title and I'll take you to the basic cloud computing, because you need to understand the basic in order to get all the topics, right? So the first topic is Elastic Compute Cloud. This is server management. Simple storage service is a storage management. And block storage is one kind of storage. So these two are a storage management in cloud, and this is elastic load balancing is mainly for one of the network management. So we have in cloud server management, storage management, network management, firewall management, email management, messaging management, lot of services we have in cloud. So in AWS, for different service, different operations, we have different services. The RDS is mainly for database management. DynamoDB is mainly for another kind of database management. There are different databases available in the world, right? We say SQL databases, we say no SQL databases. So in Amazon, we have a different database for those both. And we have autoscaling concept is mainly for server management, and elastic cache is mainly for the temporary memory management. So we'll see detail about elastic cache. Now you won't understand what is the purpose, but I'll tell you the detail about this elastic cache. And we have identity access management. This is very important topic. This is the one first we are going to see, guys. Like, once we finish this, the basic introduction topic, right, we're going to see this identity access management as a first topic. So what is identity access management? Identity access management is basically for authentication and authorization. So what is authentication and authorization? Let's say Raju is coming. Raju is coming and joining. Let's say I have my company. Raju is coming and joining as a software engineer in my company. Now Raju has to get started working on on my cloud platform, right? Raju and Ramesh is coming and joining into my course and in my company, and get started working on things in my company. Now they need a login credentials, they need access. So basically this IAM is mainly for authentication and authorization, right? And we are going to see the concept of VPC, which is virtual private cloud. It's a pure networking concept. If you guys tell me, hey Santosh, I do not have experience in the networking, do not worry, here we are going to start from zero. So I will get you completely involved in the basic networking, and then we do the cloud networking. So do not worry about it. If you can tell me, Santosh, I do not have experience or understanding about any of this concept earlier, can I get started on this course and I can learn? Yes, because this course is designed to deploy all these things on cloud, which we will start from very basic. So do not worry about it. And cloud formation, simple email services, simple queuing services, these are all the application services which will help you to integrate your application in a way that, like, where it will notify, send an email address, email notifications, sending a message to another application. This is what this application services. And we have serverless computing called as Lambda. So serverless computing, so computer itself, like, we need a server, right? So what is serverless computing? Without server, how can we do the computing? So that is the service in AWS which will help you to reduce your cost. Why? Because, say, if you need to do some computing, you need a server, and the server costs more for you, right? And I do not want to spend more money, I want to spend less money, but I want to run some application. Then there is a computing called a serverless computing. And you have import export services, which is like, how do we import a bunch of data into cloud and export the data from cloud. So that is import export service called as Snowball. We have code commit, where the software engineers who do the Java code, right? Let's say a Java developer do some Java code. They need to store their code. They have the GitHub, in the repository to store. Similarly, we have something called code commit in AWS. If you guys don't, again, I'm telling guys, if you guys don't understand much about these topics, do not worry. I'm going to tell you like detailing about the infrastructure services, what is needed for our AWS course, right? And we have elastic beanstalks. Elastic beanstalk is mainly for application developer. A developer who wants to deploy their application, they can deploy their application in elastic beanstalk, right? CloudFront is mainly for CDN. What is CDN? It is called as Content Delivery Network. Uh, to put in easiest way, say for example, Netflix video is uploaded in US. The same Netflix video, when you are seeing from India, and same video who is playing from US, will both of you guys have delay? You will not usually now, right? So how it is being managed without even delay in Netflix? That's because of the CloudFront distribution. The people across the world gets delivered their content in a proper way. That is CloudFront. And Route 53 is mainly for DNS. How do we buy a domain name? How do we use a domain name? All the concept we see in Route 53. Glacier is for storage, archival storage. What is archival storage? Let's say in a physical term, we'll take, let's say you are running a company, you have 5 years of physical file of your company. All the files, what will you do? You will just arrange it in a rack and you put it in a storage room, right? And after some time, whenever you need it, you will just go and take it. You will just archive, you will just tie it and put it in a storage node. So in cloud, how we will use archival storage, that is Glacier. And we also have key management system, mainly for encryption and decryption. So these are the service, some of the services provided in AWS. We are not going to see all the services, but I will explain you the services about like the introduction, how do we get started. But what is the actual thing we are going to see? We'll see about AWS subscription. How do we get the AWS subscription? How do we open the console? Individually, we are going to create your AWS account. I will tell you how to create your AWS account. I will tell you how to use your AWS account. So individually, you will get your account to practice everyday's topic. Okay, so you guys have to create your account and you can log in every day whenever you need it. You can practice. If you ask me, hey Santosh, is it a paid account? It is a paid account, but for learners, Amazon is giving for free account. Okay, so free account, you have to create. I will guide you through how to create your account. So tomorrow we will see how do we create our account and how to kickstart. So you guys please carry a debit card or credit card. You need to have a bank balance of at least like $50,000. No, right? You don't have to. So it is a free account. Don't worry. You just need a card. You just have to verify your account. So it will detect in Indian money, detect 1 rupee or $1. It detect and it will revert it back. Don't worry about it. You just need a card for a true validation. That's it. So keep your debit card or credit card ready with you for tomorrow, and I will help you how to create your account. Right? So, and then we're going to start the concept of EC2. This is the concept I told you how the server management is going to work, right? In cloud, how do we create the server? How do we maintain the server? How do we manage thousands of server? How do we manage, or how do we do the scaling for thousands of servers? So all the concepts we will see in this EC2 instances. And then we have a concept called as EBS. This particular concept is on storage. So what do you mean by storage? In let's say you're buying a laptop. When you buy a laptop, will you buy a laptop without hard disk? No, right? When you buy a laptop, it will it will need hard disk. And how much capacity of hard disk? It depends on your usage. But at least bare minimum 30 GB, because the operating system files should get installed, right? So you can buy your laptop up to how many GB that you want, depends on your budget and depends on your need. You will attach your hard disk. Similar way, in cloud, when we buy a server, right, the concept I told you, right, EC2, for that you need storage. So elastic block storage is gonna help you to buy the storage part of the server and help you to mount it. Right, now I'll take a pass here. Guys, do you have any questions so far? You guys can unmute and talk. Even if it is no, you can unmute and say no, because interaction will help me to understand you guys are on track.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Actually, yes, about I would like to know if you have any specific or any kind of application that we will
Mm-hmm.
be able to deploy it on Amazon, on AWS, in order to try to maybe in case we would like to set a SNS, to get
Mm-hmm.
some notification, or
Mm-hmm.
we would like to monitoring the application. Do you
Mm-hmm.
have any application that we can deploy and try to use those service?
Yeah, so we will see all the services. We will see how to deploy. So what we will do, we will on EC2, how do we deploy and a basic application we will see. So I
Okay.
will help you to create just a basic HTML application and deploy it on EC2. That's one thing. Second, let's say, how do we get a notification using SNS? We will see the notification using SNS, how to set the notification, how do we integrate with, let's say, auto scaling, or during any kind of situation, how do we integrate the notification, we will see, right?
Okay,
So
okay,
we
yeah,
will we will see in this, definitely.
okay.
Right.
And my second
Yeah.
question is, of course, uh, well, I'm a DevOps engineer, so my contract just finished like 1 month ago. So I would like to know, because I know most of the time we don't go on the dashboard to click or to create, you know, EC2 instance or different, um, like maybe if we would like to create like a ELB or an RGS, we don't go and click on the dashboard. Are we gonna learn how we can use the CLI also, or we just have to go and do it
So
like the
we are going to
way?
do with the GUI, because since everyone is completely new to this, maybe you have already know about basics of what is that. Maybe everyone is new. We are going to learn about the GUI way. But if at all you need it in the CLI commands, I will help you with how to leverage the commands. But mostly the command line in AWS is not at all difficult. Believe me, all the command lines are pretty easy. I will share you the command line, like,
Okay,
how you will leverage the command lines here. But since everyone is, like, from non cloud terminologies, so I would take them everyone into on the operation wise, like visualize them how the things are going to work, because they need to have an understanding, right? So if we want to use the command line, I will direct you how to use the commands, how to get the commands. I will help you with all the documents and everything. All right. Yeah, any other question?
So, I have a quick question on this. So, are we going to be touching the development side as well, or is just going to be purely on infrastructure?
Yeah, it is on the infra part. So development, as in, like, what because if you say development, you can do the development in Java, Python, all the SDK supports,
Hmm.
right? So we are not going to see in one any one particular tool, because it also needs a programming experience. So here the solution architect is full of infra part, not on the development side.
So it's just on AWS infrastructure, but nothing
Yes.
on either development or DevOps side, right?
No, no, no.
Yeah.
All right, because this itself, like, we have a detailed syllabus. When you say the development side, again, it's like, you need to understand the programming and then get started on. Let's say if you're taking Python, then you need to understand the Bodo 3. Then you can do the creation and everything on the Bodo 3 side. So that's again a separate automation course. Basically, we have it, right? Yeah. So here on the AWS infra part, it's completely like, solution architect course.
And where does the containers come in place? I mean, is it going to be on the Lambda side, or is it going to be?
Container we don't see here, because it is on the AWS infrastructure. When you say container, it is a Docker container. You need to understand the Docker concept and Kubernetes, which is a DevOps part.
DevOps
So it
parts?
is on
Got
the DevOps course. It is on the DevOps course, not on the AWS course.
it. Okay, makes sense.
All right. All right. Any other question, folks? Any question? Okay, let me just continue. So the next we are going to see about the elastic load balancer. What is elastic load balancer? Is basically, say for example, in your app, project, you guys have deployed a web application. That application, if you want to make it highly available, you have to deploy that application in 2 3 servers. And how to equally distribute the load to all 2 3 servers is basically with a device called as load balancer. It's going to balance your load to route your request to all the servers where you have your application deployed. So you need to understand about the pure load balancer part. We have a types of load balancer. We are going to see about the application load balancer and network load balancer. How do we configure, attach, and detach from these servers? The lot of topics inside that we will understand about the load balancer part. Then we move to the auto scaling. So what is auto scaling? This first you need to understand the scaling. What do you mean by scaling? Scaling, nothing like, you have to increase or decrease the resource depends on your need. Say for example, you have a laptop using 8 GB RAM and 4 core processor, and you're running some big application which is like running out of your memory, running out of your storage, maybe running out of your CPU. So what would you do in that case? You will upgrade your resources in your laptop, right? You will upgrade the RAM or upgrade the CPU or upgrade your any other resources. So that is called a scaling. So manually you are scaling out, or how are we going to do the auto scaling in cloud? Because manually in many area we cannot do that. So we need to automate many stuff, which is going to called as auto scaling. So how do we create auto scaling? And how there are two types of scaling, if you see, horizontal and vertical scaling. So here we will see how do we horizontally scale, how do we vertically scale, how do we vertically do the auto scaling also, we will see here. Okay, and we also talk about S3, simple storage service. What is simple storage service? It's basically a cloud storage, like for example Dropbox, for example Gmail, the Google Drive. So you have cloud storage in AWS called as S3. We are going to see how are we going to manage this S3 with access, how are we going to manage with your resources, uh, to put the objects, like how to download it, how to upload it, how do we manage the different storage class. All the topics we will cover in this S3 topic. So I am not drilling bit much into the topics, guys, because it's maybe like, in the initial class you might just need the introduction. Later we will detailedly see about each and every classes, right? So we also talk about Glacier. What is Glacier? Is basically archival storage. I told you, right? How do we put the storage, all the files into an archival, where it is a secured place where you can just put archive data. That is on the Glacier storage. And we also talk about, this is the very first topic we're going to talk about, I told you, right? Like the identity access management. So what is identity access management? How do we create the users? How do we give permissions? How do we create the groups? How to use the authentication part and authorization of AWS? That's the very first thing we will discuss about. And virtual private cloud is on the networking. The networking is something that how we will do the networking for the multiple servers, because in cloud we might provision thousands of server. All thousands of server might not interact each other. We might have 100 servers for project A, 100 servers for project B, and these two projects should not get interact. Then these two servers also should not get interacted. So how we will isolate the network on cloud? How do we isolate the resources? That is on the networking part. So we first need to understand the IP address card. How do we do the IP addressing? Then we also need to understand about the VPC setup. We do various scenarios. So we will spend quite some time in the VPC concept, guys. Like how do we do kind of setup on the VPC? Then we will talk about Route 53. Route 53 is something that the DNS, I told you, right? Like how do we buy a domain name? How do we use a domain name for our DNS? That's something we'll do it in Route 53. Then CloudWatch is a very important topic. This is for monitoring. Why do we monitor? Say for example, in your production you have hundreds of servers. All the server, you cannot just go and monitor each and every CPU utilization or network utilization. Anything you cannot manually monitor. You need some service which will automatically monitor, and if at all some deviation, it should trigger a notification to your email address, right? So in that case, how do you manage this is what we will see here in the CloudWatch, right? And we also see about these topics: SNS, SUS, SQS and SES, which is the application service. We talk about how do we create a SNS subscription, how do we use the SQS queue, how do we use this SES simple email services, how do we set up the domains. Then we talk about the Elastic Beanstalk. It is mainly for web application. I think uh, one of you asked, right, like how do we set up this, how do we deploy an application? So there are two ways. You can deploy it on normal EC2 instance, or you can deploy it on Elastic Beanstalk, where your application gets deployed on a kind of a predefined setup. Maybe you are a Java developer, maybe you are a Python developer. You develop some application. How do we deploy? So Elastic Beanstalk helps you to deploy your application, right? And you also have RDS. What is RDS? It is mainly for the database services. You can see, guys, we have it's a detailed syllabus. Don't worry about, don't get scared or don't feel that tired, because what I'm telling is, as the first session, I need to make you understand what I'm going to cover in this particular course. Do not worry about, hey, this is so much details. I'm talking fully on theory. Do not worry, guys, because it's on the very first few sessions. I need to make you understand what are we going to do. And when we start the hands-on, eventually you will be interested, guys, because all these are, we are going to really see how we will provision the server, how we will connect, how do we, right, use all the services is what we will see here. So do not worry about all this practical things, because we are going to cover it on fully hands-on, not going to much detail you on the theory part, right? CloudFront, we will see, we will distribute the content. So what we will do, we will buy a domain name, we will deploy one web application, we will distribute that application across the world with a faster distribution, right? And we will also talk about how do we create the elastic cache. Elastic cache is temporary storage, where when you want to speed up your application performance, you need an elastic cache. I'll tell you the concept where we will use this elastic cache when we see about it. And we also need to set the metrics for the elastic cache, and how do we manage this elastic cache on the creation on AWS. At last, we see the introduction about CloudFormation, which is a infrastructure code as a code for your AWS. Let's say whatever you're developing, you can create using an automation script as well. How are we going to use that automation script is what we will see in the CloudFormation. So this is all about the syllabus, and we see some use cases, and these are the detailed syllabus what I have mentioned. But this is all about our course content, guys. Do you guys have any questions now? I'll take a pass now. Maybe few of you tired of looking at all these terms, you might not understand initially. Do not worry, guys. I'm telling you honestly, don't worry about it. I will take care of all your burdens. Don't worry about all your cloud doubts, and things get clarified when we start the classes. But now, any questions or any doubt, guys? Can you unmute and talk and let me know what do you feel?
What is duration of course?
So we need at least 1 month, 1.5 month. So the hour wise, like, uh, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay. So hour wise, I'm planning like 30 to 35 hours, but it is not. So I don't fix just a 30 hours or 35 hours, because the hour, why I'm tentatively saying is, like, if you guys have understood all the topic, we just keep moving and we can finish. And if you need to spend some time, 2 3 classes on understanding more about some topic, it takes 2 3 classes extra for some topic. So 30 to 35 hours is what the plan basically. Okay, and it is not restricted only to 35, because some people might need some clarification also. It's up to you guys. So I don't mind explaining more, taking more class and explain you guys. Do not worry about that.
Question.
All right.
Hello.
Any questions, doubt?
Yes, I have a question.
Feel free to ask whatever the question that you guys have initially.
My micro. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Let's get started with the introduction, or before that, do you guys have any questions? Maybe
Hey, hey Satish, we do have some questions, correct?
Mr.
So I
Talkie,
think
think one
something.
second. Maybe I'll just disconnect my audio. Some issue with my audio. Guys, can you talk now?
Yeah, could everybody hear? No,
Yes, I
Satish?
can hear you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Because I had some issue with the microphone. Yeah.
Hey, no worries. Okay. I think somebody else is asking question. If not sure who is this. Once they are done, I can have my own questions.
Yes, I was the one trying to ask the question, but I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Now
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
you
hear
are
you.
audible.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So my question was about the data migration because when we apply for job, we be seeing so many like the company they be asking for data migration, especially when you are in the cloud. Will you be able to show us how we can perform some data migration?
See, on the generic way, on the data migration, I can help you to just explain about the data, but without scenario, right? Like I cannot directly tell you about the data migration. So we have database migration, we have infrastructure migration. So this is on the migration completely, not on the engineering. So engineering is purely you set up from scratch. So whatever we are going to see here is completely on the engineering, right? You're going to do the setup from scratch. So we have AWS database migration services also in AWS, right? So you have the like from database from RDS database or from your local database to RDS database. How do you migrate? So all these are available. Application migration also available, and infrastructure migration also available. But I can help you like what are the migration services are available, how it's going to be performed on the overall idea. But
Okay.
if you bring some specific scenario, also I can help you. It depends on the scenario what you bring. But in
Okay.
general, I can just give brief about like what is the migration part, what is needed. Maybe at last, like once all the engineering tasks are finished, we can have a look at like what is needed. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Hey,
Go ahead, Manu. Yeah.
yeah, there are a couple of questions. Sorry for being joining late. Okay, so is this course is good enough for person who's not having any experience in AWS?
Yes. So this is what I was initially talking. So whatever I have planned here, right? It is basically
Hmm.
like whoever doesn't have an understanding, we can get started. So all the topic, I'm going to start from scratch, and whoever doesn't have the understanding about cloud computing, they can easily get started on this. No worries.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Thanks for answering that. And what is the prerequisite for this to
So
get started?
so you need to have a laptop, a minimal configuration laptop, because most of the stuff we are going to interact with AWS on the browser, and you need a small tool called as Putty. We just need it. I will help you out to set up. It's just a very basic tool. So you don't need such a grand, configuration laptop. You just need a basic laptop to get started on this, and you also need to have a basic understanding of, how the computer works, how the server works. And if you don't have understanding completely, I'm going to explain how the server configuration, storage configuration on AWS, but the basic understanding of how the server, storage, network concept works, that's fine.
Okay, cool. Yeah, another aspect to this is it's going to be hands-on, correct? Like now we will be
Yes,
doing
it's
some
not on
lab.
the theory. Exactly. It's
Okay,
purely on hands-on. I will give you every day the task. You need to complete it. I will do the demo before giving all the tasks. I will give you a demo. What is hands-on for each and every topic. You guys have to do the hands-on. Come back, ask me. You can share your screen and ask me wherever you stuck. I can help you.
okay. And is that if I want to take any certification after this, is that any sort of practice session is there or any kind of support is there?
So here I will I will share the question dumps. I usually get on the question dump time to time. I will share the question dump for your certification for preparation, and also I will share the material. So one thing, there are two things for the certification. uh, People might try for job, people might try for certification, or people try for both. For certification, it's pure theory part. So whatever we are seeing as hands-on, it will be helpful for your interview and to get the job. But for certification, you need to study more on the theoretical part, because exam is more into theory part. So on the theory, I will share the question dump, the latest question dump which is asked in the AWS exam. At least 60 to 70% questions you will receive from that question dump, and you also have to prepare a few more. I will help you out what needs to be prepared. I will help you on the preparation guidance on the AWS.
Okay. Uh, okay. Thanks. And a part of the services which you mentioned, if we want to like to go through some other services or other best practices, I'm not sure you definitely covering those, but I just want to reconfirm, is that going to
Yes,
have?
yes. So
Okay.
for all the services, I will cover all the best practices and troubleshooting techniques. Also, like if you have some other services stuck somewhere, you can let me know. So
Okay.
many services, except the machine learning services, even machine learning few services I have worked. So many services I've worked. Other than this, I'm telling about. Right. So you can bring your doubt on some other services. I can help you out.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying. My last question. Uh, so normally when exactly you do AWS services, like you have to go through CI/CD pipeline, deploy your stuff into production ready environment, correct? So is that those pipelines are going to be covered on
No.
a high
So
level?
when you say CI/CD pipeline and deployment is basically when you need to have the DevOps knowledge. So basically the automation part, everything covered in the DevOps. Here on the provisioning, let's say how do we provision the infrastructure, how it works basically, how do we do kind of architecture, how do we deploy it on AWS, how do we create all these things we will cover. Automation and CI/CD, everything is a part of DevOps.
No,
So that is
okay,
something,
I got
yeah.
that. Yeah. So,
That
so whenever you are going to show, you are going to show through IAM console tool.
sorry.
So when exactly you are going to give demo or we will do the practice, reading environment and all, we are going to do through console tool.
Yeah, we will use the console. We'll use the AWS console. We'll go and create. We do the manual stuff, not on the CI/CD, not on the do the coding infrastructure coding and do that. We will do it on the console. We will go create all the resource. Say for example, when I ask you to create the load balancer, you have to create the EC2 instance, deploy some application, then we will create load balancer. Everything is on the AWS console.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it. Thanks. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks, Ati. Yeah.
No problem. Any other questions, folks? Uh, yeah, I see Ramesh. Ramesh, you joined a little late. Maybe I'm not sure. So, any questions? Anything? Feel free to post it, guys. I will help you to clarify. We will start the introduction, the cloud computing introduction tomorrow.